Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to the VOLTHA TST call, September 16th. This call will be recorded and uploaded to the social media. I just copied the agendas what we had in the previous meeting, and just so that will complete it as well. Yeah. This I have reviewed. No further comments here. Any comments from you, Shafan or Mahek on this? Since Veteran has reviewed, I also reviewed, have given one comment which is resolved as well. So things will be good here.
I have no further comments for the release notes. I think Nora completed it.
Yes.
Abalash, it looks like these minutes are from the meeting 2 weeks ago. Are there minutes for today?
Sorry. Yes, sorry. I have it up here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good.
All good.
Yeah, I have copied it. I don't know how I ended up there. Okay. So on the webinar, so it's on October, I don't recall. Second, you have
October 8th.
October 8th. Yeah.
October 8th, say 8 a.m. PST or PDT.
Okay, that's done. Eric,
So
this was
for the webinar, we should discuss what would be the content. So Michelle, will you guide us for this direction, or should we talk with Abhilash and decide what would be the content?
I think you all are best suited to decide on what the
Okay.
content should be. Yeah, what features or changes you think would be most valuable to review with folks, and yeah, I think that's up to you all.
So what is the deadline? We should we also inform you about the content? So you are before you publish about the webinar, probably you would need what would be the content. So what is the deadline for that?
I think we've in the past just left it as, it's going to be a review of the recent release with project leads, and we leave it at that. So it's pretty broad. It doesn't need to be,
I see.
a high pressure event. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
low
Okay.
key. So I already set it up. We'll add it to the website shortly and make sure we promote so folks know it's coming up. But yeah, it's up to you as long as you're ready by the day of.
I understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
take all the time you need. If there
Okay.
are things about it that you want to promote because you think it would get more people to attend, we can definitely do that.
I don't have anything right now, but
yeah, think of with yourself something. So start off with something, and probably we can work on it together.
what was it? Abhilash couldn't get it.
Okay, so I'll start off with a presentation. I'll put a few points on the PPT, and then go over and modify it, and we'll see how will it come.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Arvind. I completely missed this point. I was about to jump to the next.
Okay, thank you.
So I sort of carried over this point from the previous meeting. I think on the GitHub actions, sorry, I didn't inform you on this. Any demo you can give, or I'm fine if you can give it next time.
Yeah. I can do that right now.
Okay, sure.
Let's see.
Your voice is a bit low. I'm not sure if it's only for me, but
Oh, let me try to fix that. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let's see, can I share my screen, please?
That's stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, real quick thing, just got a few slides to go over. So actions, GitHub actions are just YAML files that are stored in a .github directory in each repository. You can also have universal actions in an organization by creating a .github repo and putting things in there. They are, of course, made to be native to GitHub, so we have created a shim that goes between Garrett and GitHub to basically trigger it and give it all of the information from Garrett that it might need, the change type and things like that. So looking at GitHub Actions versus Jenkins, Jenkins, of course, we are self-hosting, so we have to do the maintenance for that and pay the server costs. Cost for GitHub Actions, at the base level, it is free. If we need specific hardware, it can get more expensive, or at least, we would have to pay for anything we host ourselves, which is no different than what we're doing with Jenkins now. Obviously, every system that we spin up to run tests on, we pay for. This would only be if we need particularly high level hardware for something. What we found moving most projects over to Actions is that the vast majority are fine running on their hardware, and it is typically only really really in-depth tests that tend to go past there. They have like a 2-hour limit on jobs. So if there's a really large number of tests or something particularly CPU or memory intensive, then you might have to spin up your own runners. But again, the vast majority just runs on their hardware fine. Let's see, we can use reusable libraries, similar to how we have our JJB library. Right, and the way it's designed is a lot closer to Jenkins pipelines than the freestyle jobs that we currently have. So the reasons that we want to switch, big one is lower costs. Jenkins alone tends to cost hundreds of dollars, if not in excess of $1,000 a month, just to have it there. GitHub Actions can, for most projects, and I think that would include VOLTHA, be completely free. I'm not aware of any jobs that we have that would require special hardware. Also the speed increases. So just to show, this is a patch that I recently uploaded that has a very simple verify. All it does is run a script on Jenkins Job Builder to verify the CI management code. Pushed it at 7:16. Testing started 3 minutes later at 7:19 and finished 2 minutes after that, 7:21. This is the same job that I have running on our CI management repo currently. Pushed at 3:09, testing started at 3:09, testing finished at 3:09. It's much faster. You tend to get results really quickly with it. It's very nice. Also, it has native, very good support for parallelizing jobs, which is super helpful. And in fact, the demo job that I wrote for our VOLTHA Go, that job normally does make with 3 targets, lint, SCA, and test. So just by creating a matrix here and then telling it to make each of those targets, what this job will do is immediately put 3 parallel jobs in where it's going to run this script for each of these 3 targets. So it runs very fast. Also, we have a standardized library of actions from the Linux Foundation. We're also using that for JJB, but that one is no longer in development. It's getting very out of date. The markdown for results is quite nice. I have a very simple example of that output. So you can see this is the GitHub Actions job that I was just looking at for the CI management. I don't have any output coming in here, but you can very easily write like just a nice little job summary, add links, tables, whatever you need to it. And it's in Markdown, which I think is very simple to write and make it look nice. And of course, GitHub Actions have an enormous community, which means that a lot of the things that we need to write are already written. It's very helpful. So that's my very short little presentation. What questions do people have?
I have a question. So I think this is nice. And thanks for the presentation, Eric. So one question is, these GitHub Actions also give us the servers to build our jobs. So for example, if I commit something to Vault OpenVLT adapter, it will run the tests and build jobs and make SICA, etc., as you shown in the example. Is my understanding correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much we can just do exactly what we're doing in Jenkins and GitHub Actions.
And it is free. What is most interesting for me? Uh, it it may take lots of server time, especially if you have a build job that takes long time. But they provide the hardware in any way, right? So they don't have any limitations.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so what about the our automated tests like BBSIM tests? Do we also utilize the same GitHub Actions for this purpose, or it will still be separated?
Yeah, so you mean like periodic tests?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can run those as well. Um,
Is
GitHub
that
Actions tend to, they do more natively support reactive tests that happens, when pushes or merges occur. But yeah, you can do periodic tests as well.
So are you planning to move the periodic tests as well?
Yeah, I think just because having the Jenkins server exist is one of the main costs. Like if you break down the cloud costs, usually the agents that it spins up are a pretty small portion of it. Just having the Jenkins server up and running 24 hours a day is usually the majority of costs. And I think it specifically for our project for VOLTHA, it is. So ideally, yeah, what we would want to do is move everything so that we could just entirely decommission the Jenkins server.
so you are not going to touch the robot tests. They will still be the same, but you need to adapt that JGB codes for the GitHub Actions, I understand.
Yes.
So that GitHub Actions servers actually will allow us running our BBSIM tests too. We don't need any additional server, and it's for free, right?
Yes.
So, Eric,
So
we have
anything, sorry, just to explain, like we do have, yeah, so anything that's running like in the lab hardware, we would have to connect it to GitHub, but we can do that as well.
yeah, okay. I was going to ask this, the connection between the Jenkins and the Berlin lab. So you say we can do that as well. And the other question from myself is, we have very long jobs, like more than 2 hours, I guess. Some tests, some periodic tests probably runs more than 2 hours. So that's again is not the problem, or should we expect some costs from these long jobs?
I will need to take a look at those. I think probably the best way to answer that is to look at them and get a test running on GitHub so that we can see. Runtime tends to be very hardware dependent, and if there are things that can be run in parallel that aren't currently being run that way, then we can often cut down on the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
that
what about
limit,
the yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that limit can be a pain. That's something, probably one of the main pain points we've run into. But what we've done on other projects is just sort of adapt to it, because usually there's some way that you can break down that time so that it's not running as long. Whether it be to add parallelization, to break the tests into smaller parts, or even separate the tests, things like that, to get around that time limit.
Okay, got it.
I mean, a 2-hour job is really long, so there tends to be something that's happening that doesn't actually require it to be too long. It typically doesn't take 2 hours to compile a piece of software and run some tests on it. So whatever very large suite of tests is running that takes that long typically has some room to move things around in such a way that we can shorten that time.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. So in Jenkins server, we had some, permissions for, different roles and different users. I think it's not a problem in GitHub Actions as well.
Correct. Yeah, we can I'm trying to think. There's So yeah, there's pretty limited amount of stuff in terms of permissions that you would really need in GitHub Actions. But yes, of course, GitHub has um, teams that we can put everybody on and grant permissions to those teams. So the user management is all built into GitHub. It's a little weird sort of doing the Garrett to GitHub thing, but of course, like GitHub has everything built in such a way that the organization could be fully on GitHub. So we're essentially just using those tools and have a little bit of code just providing the kickoff to the actions to say, when we're already replicating to GitHub, so we just have hooks that let GitHub know, if a patch set is uploaded, treat it like we opened a pull request, run the actions at this point for that. When a merge occurs, trigger the jobs as if the merge had occurred on GitHub. Um, yeah. And so team management permissions all are very easy to do there.
Okay, good. And what's the timeline you're expecting for this moment?
Let's see. So full conversion would probably take a couple months. I would say that if we started now, I think the goal would be to have it fully moved over and be ready to shut down Jenkins by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, but till that time, Jenkins will still be running, right? Like
Correct.
this will be a parallel process anyway.
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, the movement will anyway be a parallel process happening, and Jenkins
Yes.
will be working till that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much as we put into GitHub jobs, we will take out the equivalent Jenkins jobs. Which again is something that I've already done for the CI management repo. That's like, so the basic hooks are already in place. So if the .github repo is there, it will automatically trigger actions as long as they're present.
Okay.
It's like I have an open change for VOLTHA Go. If we merge that, we could pull its Jenkins jobs and it would be running on GitHub right away.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I
Nothing from my
don't
side.
have.
Okay, so I think the next step would probably be, if you're okay with it, we could merge in that change for VOLTHA Go. If there's a different repository you guys would like to sort of be the guinea pig, we could do that instead. Again, like we're going to eventually move everything. So if we'd like to do a proof of concept somewhere else, just if there's somewhere that's lower impact, that would be better. That's fine. I can get that ready. But yeah, just get GitHub Actions in place for something that the project is using regularly So you can see them working and we can see if there's any issues with the way we're doing it. And if not, we can start moving things over and kind of writing shared jobs for the project.
Mm.
One of the things you'll see in here is that I have a note about how the way I'm doing this is not actually the way it'll eventually be done, because this should be in a reusable workflow so that it'll look more like this. Like the license check um, is using the same license check that's already written for Ono's project. So having the unit test where it's doing everything within the script that's in the repo is not really what we want to do. It should be a short call to a single piece of code that is shared by all the projects. Which also makes it, per repository a lot simpler.
So for the transition, Eric, you are asking us which repository is best to start with, right?
Yes.
I'm voting for BBSIM. I think it is the least important component right now for production, and it
Okay.
is also a complicated one to test for. What do you say, guys? Abhilash, Mahir?
Yes,
Oh
I
man,
I
sorry.
too thought about BBSIM, but our tests, the periodic test runs with BBSIM. Hope there shouldn't be any impact there, I guess. Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
The test will still continue running. It's just that anything new we try to push to BBSIM will be held out if there are any issues with the GitHub action. Yeah, I think so. It should be. Correct me, Eric. Correct, right? My understanding on
Yeah.
this. Okay.
Yes, that is why I'm suggesting we could do something more low impact. But I'll also say that if there's something that really needs to get through, we can also just, if it turns out that the GitHub actions are just totally broken, we can put the Jenkins job back in place.
Oh,
But certainly the hope is that the GitHub actions should be basically doing the exact same thing as Jenkins. Typically, the transition isn't super complicated. I know that some of the jobs that we have, especially for BBSim, are going to be complicated. So, uh, yeah, we can do the testing and
okay. I think so. We can go with BBSIM. I'm fine. As Sarkant also mentioned.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. I'll just comment.
Sure. And, of course, if anybody has any more questions, just ask on Slack.
Sure. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, Okay. Any points I missed? Go. Okay. The next point. Sorry, I didn't check on the next point whether the websites are working fine now.
You can remove those. I communicated with Dan and Michelle. They're going to work for those.
Okay. Next is on the reviews part. Anyone had a chance? So I changed the protos according to how we discussed the other day. Yeah, so for the long disable, we did change it accordingly how we discussed. Sakan, you got a chance to check? Sakan Mahir?
I missed that. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, I'll send out a reminder on Slack.
Yeah, please. I reviewed some of the patches I saw, but this one because I'm not a reviewer on this, I guess. Can you please check again?
No, you did.
And three more. I should, yeah.
Two,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I'll check again.
And also the Sarama and libgo. This is something which we have added for getting the statistics from ONU. So this one too. Okay, I have a
Yeah, I
+1.
got, yes.
Sure. Then I'll check Mahir or anyone from your team can check this once. If we are good, then I'll go ahead and march.
I haven't checked, but I'll check it today or tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I had. So there is one more small feature we have, which I'll come up with the proto definitions for this. Shortly, probably in the next meeting, I'll put up a document to explain about it. Just to give an idea, we are trying to support wherein the OLT can change the IP address. And OLT is up and running. Controller is already, VOLTHA is already maintaining or managing that OLT. Now, we are not handling if the IP of the OLT changes, because we have a session running in adapter, and we are not changing it because it's session and the IP is static as of now, which we've got. So now the feature is to change or reinit the session and use the new IP instead. I'll come up with a document next week on this. That's all from my side. Anything from anyone?
Not from my side.
Nothing.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you, Eric, for the demo. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.